Hello guys, just before we go into the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and click the notification bell. This is my 4th video in 4 weeks. We're keeping this on a roll. So if you want to keep up with my videos, make sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz. So, things I learned in 2020, one of the weirdest years of my life, all of our lives. Weird is a pretty small statement compared to how hectic that year was. So for the first time, I this year had a lot of time to sort of just stop doing things, staying indoors obviously, and just got the chance to think over things, think about our lives. Me personally, I got the chance to think about my life, where I'm going with my life, what I've done with my life so far. And I had a lot of reflection time this year, which is something I don't normally do, especially at the end of the year. I sort of have things I want to accomplish the next year. I don't really reflect on what happened to me in the last year or how it affected me. So for the first time, because of how mad that year was, it wasn't a bad year. There was loads of good things that happened to me personally, but there was loads of crazy things that wouldn't normally happen, like COVID obviously. So I put a list together. When I was sort of planning this video, I thought this would be a good idea. 20 things I learned in 2020, and I looked online just before I started filming this, and loads of people have done it already. So I'm not copying anyone, but I'm not the first to do this. If you want to go check out some of the other YouTubers that have done it, there's quite a few, so I'm not going to give any links, but go check them out. I was going to do 20, but I thought rather than doing 20 for the sake of it, just for the title, I'm going to hone in on it and focus on the things that I really learned this year. So I've got written down 12 things that I learned in 2020. So without further ado, let's get into them. So number 1, I'm going in with a big one for me personally. It's so cliche to say, and I feel like people hear it all the time, people say it all the time. I used to hear it all the time. I used to just brush it off sort of. I used to think, yeah, I am though. This is one that's really stayed with me this year, and it's going to stay with me for the rest of my life. Always try to be positive. I know that's such a bold statement, always be positive. Well, what that means is whenever anything gets thrown at me, whenever life throws anything at me, whenever I'm feeling down, something happens suddenly, car breaks down, or you might have failed an exam, or you've like tripped over and broken your leg, anything. Always, 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 no matter how hard it is, I know it's hard, it can be really hard. We always have down moments in our lives, but always, always, always try and be positive. Try to find the positive in that situation. Or if you can't, try and be positive about it. Try and look to the future and think, right, I'm in this predicament right now. If I let myself be down about it and be constantly negative about it, I'm just going to feel really rubbish. I'm going to feel down. There's no point making myself continue to feel like this. Just try and be positive. And it's something that I took and I've rolled with it this year, well, in the last year. Obviously, just like everyone else, I had quite a few moments this year where I thought, oh man, I just can't deal with this. I can't see where this is going. Me and Sarah have been trying to buy a house this year. We decided the year before we wanted to buy a house, and we started saving, thought things were going our way. We had met so many stumbling blocks, so many moments where we thought, yes, this is all going together, and then we just get knocked back down a peg or two. We got really, I wouldn't say depressed, but we were really down at certain points of last year, especially with COVID. We thought just before COVID happened, we went into lockdown, it was looking up. We thought, yes, we've finally got like enough for a deposit. Once the estate agents opened again, we thought, let's just go and do this. We found a house we really liked, went and viewed the house, all was going well. We thought, yes, this is sick, it's happening. And then we found out they're not doing 5% mortgages for first time buyers. We thought, oh man. And we could have moped around about it. There was nothing we could have done. We looked around every avenue, what we could have done. At that moment in time, there was nothing we could have physically done. So we said to ourselves, there's no point being negative about this. There's no point moaning about it. Let's do what we can do. All we can do right now is keep looking for houses and keep saving. And we did that. And before you know it, like a month or two later, maybe a bit longer than that, out of nowhere, we found the perfect house for us. We could get the mortgage for it, and it all sort of clicked together. Now, I'm not saying it all clicked together because we were being positive, but it just helps you with dealing with it, I think. So always, always, always try to be positive. That's the big one for me that I learned this year. Number 2, I'm not trying to contradict the last one, but it's okay to not be okay. And again, some of these are going to sound really cliche, but sometimes you need a bit of cheese in your life. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes a bit of cheese, cliches, sometimes they're good. What that means to me is when you've got those moments in your life and you're feeling down, sometimes it's okay to feel like that. We're human beings. Our emotions are so varied. You're going to be up here one day and you're going to be down there one day. And it's about not beating yourself up about it. There's so many different factors in our lives that make us feel certain ways, and it's about stepping back and thinking, okay, don't beat yourself up about it. If you're stressed about work and you feel like you just need a break, just take that break, just do it. It's okay to feel like how you are, and don't think that you're the only one in the world, because we all feel like it. Don't feel bad if you feel like that. At some point in our lives we all feel down or upset or angry about certain things, and that's just what makes us human beings. And if you want to talk to someone about it, do it. If you're not ready to talk to someone about it, just wait until you're ready, or try to talk to someone about it if you can. Number 3, this is something that for me basically kept me going through the lockdown. Always try to have something to look forward to, whether that's an event you've planned with your friends, or whether that's you're going to go and buy something. Whatever that is to you, it's going to be different for everyone. Always try to have something to look forward to, so when you're feeling down about things, or you're bored at work, or you're stressed out about work, you've got that thing at the back of your mind. It just tells you, oh, just get through this day, and then get through this week, and then at the end of this week or this month, you've got that thing that you've been looking forward to. Just try to have so many things to look forward to, especially in this day and age with COVID going on and lockdowns left, right and centre. It's always good to have something to look forward to, just to take your mind off of those things. I was very fortunate last year in 2020 to be able to go on 2 holidays, one just before the lockdown and one which we had planned the year before, which luckily, like, the timing of it was perfect, meaning we didn't have to isolate. It was when I was off work. It all just sort of clicked together. Throughout the whole of lockdown I was thinking, oh, whatever happens, it might not happen, but we get to go on that holiday in the summer. One thing we also did, me and my friends, our big event every year, Reading Festival, August bank holiday. That's the big one for us. Reading Festival obviously didn't happen, which is I was gutted about, and we were all gutted about, but we didn't let that stop us. We booked a camping trip on that same weekend, so when I got back from my holiday I had that next thing to look forward to. What is number 4? I've got number 4. You don't need to be productive all the time. Sometimes you just need to take some time for yourself, and that's really important when you're working at home. You've sat on your sofa or on your bed or at your desk for 4 or 5 hours or for a few hours. Just take that rest. It's important that you take some time for yourself no matter what you're doing. I've said it in one of my other videos. If some days you're really not feeling productive whatsoever and you do the bare minimum, there's nothing wrong with that. I do it all the time. I promise you, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't beat yourself up if sometimes you wake up and you feel like, I'm just going to do the bare minimum today, just because I don't feel like putting all my effort into something. We have those days sometimes, and that's completely fine. Now, number 5, it links on to the last one. They're kind of similar. Work is important, but it shouldn't consume your life. I think this one and number 4, they interlock like this. Obviously our jobs, your job is your livelihood, my job is my livelihood. It's how I make a living, how I pay my bills and things, but it shouldn't consume your life. Some days, like the last one, you're not feeling productive and you do the bare minimum. That's fine, as long as you get your job done, you do what you need to do. That's the most important thing. But some days you just have to switch off. You should give yourself like a time. I'm going to stop work at 4 o'clock today, switching my laptop off, and then that's it. Not opening that laptop up till tomorrow. Number 6, which is something you always think, oh, I knew that already, but I didn't properly realise it until these lockdowns. We take the little things for granted. When I say the little things, I mean like the real little things, like not having to queue up to go to Tesco, or being able to see my family, being able to just be in the same room as my mum and give her a hug, or seeing my mates. One of the things I really miss, on a Friday night, going to Camden Town, walking into the club and hearing Mr. Brightside blasting out, or hearing my favourite band, the 1975. Oh man, I miss it so much, and we take those little things for granted. From now on, I'm going to try and not take those little things for granted. Like when I see my friends and we get to go for a drink, or when I see my mum and I give her a hug, I'm going to cherish those moments. Honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, I'm going to cherish those moments, because it's in these times now, I think, what I'd give one of those moments. I'd give so much for one of those moments right now. I take those little things for granted, and I'm going to try the rest of my life cherish those moments, those things that you don't really think about at the time. Number 7, family and friends are so important. If it weren't for my family and friends, who I didn't actually get to physically see, most of them, they're so important, which I already knew, but it just made me realise, again, it amplified it to me. I would not have been able to get through this lockdown if I didn't FaceTime my mum all the time, if I didn't have those weekly Zoom quizzes with my friends, if I didn't get drunk with my friends on Zoom. Just helped me get through it. Again, it links on to the other things I said, like those things to look forward to during the lockdown. I had Oh, we've got a Zoom quiz on Friday. Yes, I can't wait to see everyone on Zoom. We're going to get smashed. Family and friends are so important, more than ever in these times. Even though you can't physically meet them or physically give them a hug or a kiss or whatever, they're so important to help you get through these moments. And if you haven't spoken to your mum or your brother or one of your mates, give them a text and try and organise something with them, because you need to stay in touch with those people during these times more than ever, just to help you get through those moments when you're feeling lonely, you feel like you can't get through what we're going through. What have I got next? Number 8. All I've written is here, I am so lucky. This year, with COVID going on, with all the stuff that's gone on, I'm so lucky to have been able to do the things I did last year. Let's think before COVID. I got to go on holiday. I went for a weekend away to Ireland. I got to go to see the 1975 at the O2. I went clubbing loads of times. I'm so lucky. That was pre-COVID. During COVID, I got to go on holiday. I got to certain points meet up with my family and my friends. During what's going on, people are dying and people are getting really sick, and I do moan thinking, oh, I can't wait for this to be over. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm so lucky to be able to do the things I've done. So for me, at the end of the year, I thought it's been a bit of a mad year, but I am really lucky with the things I got to do. So it's one thing I didn't learn, but I sort of just realised. And if you watch my last video, my 1 second every day for 365 days, you can see how lucky I was. I got to do so many things, which I'm so grateful for, because so many people had holidays booked and they couldn't go on them. They had concerts booked. I had loads of concerts booked that got cancelled, but I was lucky, managed to go to at least one of them before COVID. It happened in February, so literally like not even a month before we went into lockdown. Number 9 is be consistent. Now that can mean so many things in so many different ways. What it means to me is anything you want to do, if you want to achieve something, be consistent with it. If you want to lose some weight, or if you've got a goal, like at the moment I want to do YouTube, and I've wanted to do YouTube for a number of years. I've had so many different YouTube channels over the past like 10 years, maybe more. I've been on YouTube and I've never been consistent with it. And I told myself this year, you've been wanting to do this for a long time. You've just got to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm doing it now. You need to be consistent with it. Whether I make bad videos, whether I make good videos, I just need to be making videos. And as I do it, as I learn how I'm doing these things, eventually, hopefully, they will get good. And maybe one day I'll have a small viewing or whatever, but just be consistent with it. That's what I've told myself. And this is the 4th video I've done in 4 weeks. Hopefully in 10 weeks, that's 10 videos. Maybe more. Hopefully in a year's time, that's 52 videos. I don't know, but I'm gonna try it. This is something I've started doing at the end of 2020. In everything I do, just try and be consistent. I know I can be consistent because there's certain aspects of my life I've been consistent with. I've lost loads of weight before. I've managed to train for a half marathon. So I know I can be consistent. So it's something that I just want to continue with myself. So whatever you want to do in your life, there's something you want to achieve. There's a goal you want to achieve. Just be consistent with it. Take small steps, but always do what you need to do. You can obviously have days off here and there, but when you have a day off, get back on it as soon as you can. Number 10, health is wealth. It's so important, and I've learned this finally at the age of 25. When you're healthy, when you're eating healthy and you're exercising, not only does it make you feel physically just good, it makes you feel good, you can do things, it helps you mentally as well. When I was really unhealthy and overweight and I couldn't run for 10 minutes without stopping, I physically couldn't do things, and that made me feel mentally. I beat myself up about things because I couldn't go for a run. When I was a kid, I could run for half an hour straight or hours straight, but now I'm older, I can't run for 10 minutes. Like, what's that about? And it had its effect on me mentally. So when I started getting healthier and eating healthier and trying to exercise more, I put my name down for the London Marathon. I did a half marathon. Physically and mentally, I feel so good now. So I just learned finally at the age of 25, health is really wealth. When you're healthy, you feel so good both physically and mentally. Number 11, don't wait for things to happen. If you want to do something, if you want to achieve something, don't wait around. It's not going to happen unless you do something about it. Make it happen. Me and Sarah wanted to buy a house. We had to do loads of things to try and sort those things out. We couldn't just sit around and wait for them to happen. We had to do the things to make them happen. I want to do YouTube, and I've been wanting to do it for like 10 years. I uploaded my first video when I was like 13, and I'm 25 now. I waited around for so long and I didn't make it happen, and I'm trying to make it happen now. Don't wait for things to happen in 2021. If you want them to happen, do something about it and make them happen. So last last one kind of links to some of the things I said before again. Make the most of what you've got in front of you. If you haven't got a lot, don't take for granted the things you've got. If you've not got a lot of money, that's okay. Make the most of what you've got in front of you. Like, I want to do YouTube. At the moment, all I can afford is iMovie, and I've been doing my videos on that, and it's going well at the moment. When I can afford to get a better software, I will, but I'm making the most of what I've got, rolling with the punches. If you really want a flashy car but you can't afford one, think about it. Do you really need that car? Is your current car okay? A nice car would be better, that'd be great, but make the most of what you've got and don't dwell on the things you haven't got. I had a lot of time to think about that this year. And that's it. 12 things that I learned in 2020. What did you learn in 2020? Anything similar to mine or anything completely different? Give me a comment down below about the things that you learned last year. Thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. If you did like it, give me a like, give me a comment, and click the bell because I'm uploading videos every week. Thank you so much. See you guys later. Bye.
My nights is a social buffer just 'cause all my friends they hate each other.